So yeah, very interesting. And then I'm not sure if you have noticed, I mean, again, this is a work in progress, this is Catalina up here.
Yeah.
That is one of only 23 freeway enforcers ever.
No way, you're kidding.
Special.
Parts that he had taken off doors and now glass, a lot of stuff. He just give me, oh yeah, you want these transmissions? And he's got his titles and loaded up with parts. They need.
Yeah, we're just telling Mark about your amazing freeway enforcer and how rare it is and how unique it is and how engine transmission stuff.
So I'm here at Chase, basically Classic Motors in Clinton Township. This is the first time I've ever been here. They were supposed to have a huge cars and coffee event today, but you can see the clouds are out. It was raining, and they posted a cancellation for it, but they basically postponed it till tomorrow. But there are a few cars here that's pretty cool, mostly Mopars, which is really cool, especially this. This is a Shelby CSX. And by the license plate, you can tell that there was only 500 made, but this thing's in really, really good shape. Really good shape. Manual transmission, basically a shadow. But man, you don't see many of these left that are in this good a shape. And of course, we brought the Chrysler 300 up, which drove actually really, really good. We got really high winds and stuff today, but it drove actually really, really good on the way up here. But they got a few vehicles out. They work on a lot of Mopars. As you can see inside the shop there, they have a really awesome 440 Fury that's with the Michigan State Police scheme, which is actually at a lot of events here in Michigan. But they got a lot of other cool cars. There's a couple back here we'll go take a look at. I seen them when I was pulling up. Let's take a look at them back here. But they do some Fords. There's a Ford old ambulance in there. And they got a Pontiac Catalina, which was a former highway pursuit car, which is pretty cool. But you can see, here's a Newport. Probably a 79 Newport. Hey, what's going on, Tigger? But, yeah, they do a lot of things. Their thing got postponed, which kind of sucks, but we just found out about we got here, and there's like 5 people here. But, nevertheless, I figured to come up here and check out their stuff. But they have a YouTube channel. They do a lot of restoration stuff, and their YouTube channel is pretty new. So if you go on there, they do a lot of cool stuff. The reason why we found them was my dad seen a video. They did a 1979 Chrysler 300 with T-tops just like ours and basically tuned it up. So that's what we're here for, to see if they would do something with ours. But this is a 79 Newport, and you can see it's pretty beat, but it's got some Cooper off-road tires in the back, rotted out. So I'm trying to talk my wife. I found, I love how some of these cars still have the original dealer stickers on them. So this car's originally from Iowa. I'm trying to talk my wife. I found a 1979 Chrysler New Yorker with a 362 barrel in it for sale. And it's in Pennsylvania. And It's not that bad of a price. Spinnaker white, looks really sharp, but I'm trying to talk her into letting me buy it on the way to Carlisle. But I doubt I will be able to. But it's a cool New Yorker. This is a Newport. This is like basically the poor man's New Yorker. So unlike the actual New Yorker, this one doesn't have hideaway headlights. Has a little different grille. Same body style. This is an R body. If you're not familiar with the R bodies, Chrysler in 1979 was going through a huge financial crisis. Obviously, everybody knows that because Lee Iacocca came on board and tried to save the company. The problem was Chrysler didn't have any like smaller size cars. At the time, the smallest car that Chrysler had was the Cordoba, which was a B-body car. And if you see it compared to today, you know, it's still a large car, even though it was considered a mid-size. But that was the smallest Chrysler ever produced until that time. So what they were looking at doing is downsizing because of the fuel crisis. They were looking at downsizing the platform. Well, they didn't have any money. So what they came out with was the R body. The R body is a B body underneath, but it's stretched a little bit. Everybody says this car was a failure, which it was. They only sold it for about 3 years. 79, 80, and 81, it was discontinued. I would have to say it's one of the cars that actually is a hard point in Chrysler's life. But nonetheless, they're not bad cars. It's just, this is a time where Chrysler took shortcuts and stuff because they were bankrupt. I mean, they had no freaking money. So, unfortunately, they came out with stuff like this. But they're still cool looking. They looked dated for their time. Because you got to remember, this is right at the point of 1980. Not even 3 years later, we get the K car. So, again, a little boxy. And the funny thing is a lot of Ford designers were hired in when Lee Iacocca came on board. So you can kind of tell it's got a lot of Ford design in it with the top, the back windows. It kind of looks like a Ford. If you look at the rear deck lid. Now, the New Yorker had a panel that went all the way across. This one doesn't have it, but the New Yorker definitely looked like a Ford vehicle. But you can tell, like, you can find these cars pretty cheap. You know, there's a huge renaissance for collectors because some of the 60s muscle cars have just become too damn expensive on the market to buy. And unfortunately, for those who are looking for a fun car that they can work on a budget, the 70s cars aren't that bad. So you get in the late 70s Chrysler vehicles, you can find them cheap. Cordobas you can find for a few grand, depending on what kind of condition. You can find a Cordoba in mint shape. There's some people that are crazy and want like 20 plus grand for them. I don't see that, but there's like one in Illinois right now that's like mint shape, 48,000 original miles at a consignment shop for $14,000. And there's not a hint of rust on that car, and it's basically turnkey. Sorry, the wind's really bad here. We got like 20 mile an hour winds. But they got a lot of cool stuff here, man. Look at this Grand Fury. I don't know if you guys are really into the 70s Mopars. I've been getting into them more as I get older. And like I said, they're just more affordable. Yeah, they're not the muscle cars of the past, but I mean, still, you're looking at the same platforms that they used and stuff like that. But still a cool car. You know, basically, look at the grille, just squared off as can be. These cars, obviously this was a former cop car, but these cars were super popular back in the day for cop cars. Massive boats. This looks to be like a 75. But again, we'll take a walk back inside and I'll show you guys what's going on inside. Again, we didn't know they canceled the event up until the point where we got here. Like, I literally went on my Facebook and noticed that there's only a handful of cars here. And I'm like, what the heck? And they canceled it while we were at breakfast. But they're postponing it to tomorrow. So if you're in the Michigan, Detroit area, feel free to check out Chase Classic Motors. They have a whole YouTube channel. They only have like 500 subscribers, which cracks me up because they do some really cool videos. But, you know, that's funny because, like, you look at our Chrysler 300 here. This is a B-body car. Sorry, I'm trying to block the wind. This is a B-body car. This is the very last year for the B-body. So this underpinnings goes back all the way to 1962. 1969 Dodge Charger, same chassis. So, you know, you can buy one of these cars super cheap. They got some police vehicles over here too. Caprice. Who doesn't love a Caprice? Especially the modern 9C1 Caprice. Everybody knows these. If you grew up in the 90s, you knew these cars. They got a few others. But this is their little shop here. We'll take a look inside. I figured there'd be a lot more people here and there's gonna be a whole car show. And there isn't, but... Good.
Great.
Check out this Ford. This Ford's awesome. Old ambulance. Thing is super sweet. Another Grand Fury up there. Pontiac Catalina. Another Plymouth. Here's another Newport. It's all stripped out. You can see the old antenna whip there. That's pretty cool.
I have a attached garage that's basically 1.5 stories.
The old Dodge Mongo up here. Oh, I'm just looking around. Old checker.
We're able today, despite the weather. We're going to keep this open. You know, we're going to do this again on Sunday. Just
That's
for
awesome.
anyone who wanted to cruise.
That's awesome.
And yeah, we're super happy to be working on some pretty unusual, rare classics and pieces of police and fire history here.
Yeah, let me end this real quick.
And this car, I wasn't sure if you're familiar with, but Unit 646 here, as far as we know, this is
Yeah.
the only surviving four-door B-body Chrysler 440 Pursuit used by the Michigan State Police.
Now, I've seen this at tons of events. I've seen it at the emergency vehicle parade last year because we were in that.
Great.
So it's
Yeah.
a very
And,
beautiful
I had
car.
it there. Yeah, a couple other shows last year. But, I mean, of the 1,000 that the state ordered in 77, 78, no other survivors have ever been found.
That's sad.
We hope there's one somewhere in a barn, like this one was found 5 years ago in a barn in Mackinac.
Really?
Yep, before we were lucky enough to get our hands on it. And again, it is a Michigan car, so, you know, it still has some rough spots that need to be worked through because our weather just, you know, crashed all these cars.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But again, you know, the fact that it's here, it's still alive, and it drives great. It's one of the most wonderful driving police cars I've ever driven in the collection.
That's awesome.
And we're having a lot of fun with it. And hopefully we're going to have it ready for America's 250th birthday in D.C.
That'll be cool.
next summer.
That'll be really cool.
Yeah, some friends of ours are hopefully arranging that so that we can be part of the procession of antique emergency